Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Juliana Connolly for Cayman Brac East.
Thank you very much, Joey. Good night, Cayman Brac, and good night, Cayman Islands. What time is it? It's progressive time. And if it's progressive time, that means it is our time, Cayman Brac. You know, this time has been a long time coming, 4 years. It's been almost 20 plus years that I've been elected and greatly humbled by the good people of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman who've given me the wonderful opportunity to be your representative. But there's been no better time than the last 4 years. Why? For love of country, the commonality. Together we are definitely stronger. Cayman Islands stronger. And you know, I am a woman of prayer, and I make no apologies of that. The last election, I did indicate that it was going to be time for transition, and I was looking for a younger person to take over the realms. But God didn't see it that way, and the rest is history. My constituents, you, the good people of Cayman Brac, came to my house. Many of you telephoned me and asked me. In fact, a very strange phenomenon happened. Civil servants who don't usually have the constitutional right to get involved sent a message and said they were so willing for me to come forward this time that they were ready, willing, able, and fired up to sign a petition. And that was more than enough inertia and synergy and catalyst to get me propelled to come back one more time. And then, as I looked into the future and thought, what would happen to this island I love so much and I call home if I had to send Moses by himself? Not that he's not capable, he's every inch of a man capable, statesman, leader, have proven it. But I was an avid sports person my side, and I know what happened when you have one on one side pulling and one on the next side pulling. Even at the best movement, if one each scored a goal, it's a draw. We don't want to draw this election. We want a progressive win, and that's why Moses and I are asking you to put Juliana back in and to put Moses back in. And don't stop there, Cayman Bracers. In the 70s, because of opportunities that were available in Grand Cayman, and even into the 80s, many of your family, many of my family, had to go to Grand Cayman to find a better living. And because they married there and had children, they're still there. And they can vote, guess what? And what time is it, Cayman Bracers who've gone to Cayman? It's progressive time. And I want you from Georgetown to West Bay, to Northside, and to Easton, and to Bordentown especially. Make sure you go out and find the progressives in the group. And if you find there's a district that the Premier has not fielded a candidate, you find the best one who can work with progressive and put your vote there, ladies and gentlemen, because it is for love of country. And that is why I stand before you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and make it official that yes, I am running and I have a choice. I am an independent thinker and I have chosen to run progressive. I was not coerced despite the rumors. I, Juliana Yvonne O'Connor, took the conscientious decision to team up in the last 4 years for love of country. And I did it for love of country one more time to team up with progressives. You know, because you have not been in abstention for the past 26 years, that I have been here with you in the good times, in the bad times, during the palomas, during your funerals, during your graduations, whatever time. And we have a saying at 180 Brown Square, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Well, it's more than 5 o'clock somewhere. It's progressive time. And we, Moses and I, intend, Honorable Premier, my colleagues from Grand Cayman, to deliver the 2 seats from Cayman Brac, God's willing, with the good help of the people. We intend, God's willing, on the morning of the 25th, if we can hold the excitement, Moses, and not go down from the night to cheer on our colleagues in Grand Cayman, when it certainly will be progressive time, to go and be a formidable part of the next government. This is not a time to make the change. Why change something good? Can I say that again? Why change something good? And we've never had it better than we have in the Brac for the last 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. Has everything been perfect? Absolutely not. The only utopia we know is heaven. And we're working mighty hard, those of us are Christians, to get there. But until then, it is progressive time, ladies and gentlemen. We have absolutely no time to change. And as I said in Spot B, for those of us who are nautical-minded, if we set forth to go to Little Cayman, we wouldn't turn around in the middle of the bogue and come back to Cayman Brac and change just because we felt that somebody else had more money. Cayman Brackers aren't foo-foo. We have good common sense. Not all of us had the opportunity to obtain tertiary education, but you're not going to fool a Cayman Bracker. And when I say Cayman Bracker, we open our arms to visitors and residents alike. Because out of many, we are still one people, and that has been the secret of our success. We won't let anyone, and I mean that, anyone, divide Moses and myself. A vote in Weston for Moses Connolly is a vote for Juliana, those of you who supported me over the many years in Weston. And there are some who have been coming to say, Miss Julie, if we can't vote for you, we're going to stay home. If you've ever done anything for me before, and I haven't asked you to do anything, but I will tonight, go out early in the morning, make it known, be proud, because there's none, save none on this platform, that you have to be ashamed of. We are together, Cayman Islands strong. Put your vote for Moses Connolly when you go in Weston. And obviously, when you go in Cayman Brac East, those of you who voted for Moses Connolly and still are wondering what you're going to do because he's not there, you vote for Juliana O'Connor Connolly, because together we are united, and united we will stand. Why is that important, ladies and gentlemen? It's not because Moses and I are seeking an occupation or something to do. Believe you me, we have more than we can even imagine to do in our own personal lives. But because of love of country, in particular Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, we have set our families aside from Monday to Friday to traverse and go to Grand Cayman, stay up the late hours, argue, negotiate, and bring back the goods. We have tangible goods, roads that you can drive on that we provided, schools that were not air-conditioned are air-conditioned, upgraded, teachers that never existed in the specialty fields, we have delivered. Nurses in Little Cayman, there was one. We are delivering the second nurse to Little Cayman. So Little Cayman, we have not forgotten you either. We have provided a sports facility which is becoming the envy is of international capacity. And not only are we providing the infrastructure, but because it is progressive time, we have a vision under the honorable leader, our Premier Alden McLaughlin. We are inclusive. All of the sections, all of the electoral districts, all of the constituencies are part and parcel of the Cayman Islands, and you will not be left behind if you do the right thing come May 24th and vote progressive straight all the way, ladies and gentlemen. You know, only a person who isn't balanced would want to change something that is good. And as I look at the hundreds of you here tonight, I don't see anybody in balance. Everybody is fired up, ready to go up, and your red looks so beautiful. Doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? We are signaling tonight. If the signal has not gone out before, Cayman Brackers are signaling not here, only in Cayman Brac, but across the streaming world, across the media world, that it is 5 o'clock somewhere. Watch out, progressive train is up and going. And on Saturday night in Grand Cayman, we're going to get even more fired up. And on the 24th, it'll be so much energy that even those who have come out of the corners trying to be independent to form a group will quietly go away and say, it's progressive time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is unlike any other election. We have, through the Constitution and through the process of democracy, the electoral system have been changed. So you can only now vote for one person. But aren't we lucky in Cayman Brac that you have two persons one in the Eastern District, one in the Western District, both with years of experience, both in our personal capacities and our political capacities, who have traversed not only domestically, but have stood in forums eyeball to eyeball with leaders across the entire world, because indeed we now live in a globalization environment. And you have not yet read once that Moses and Juliana has been detained or incarcerated or defamed in some form or fashion. None of my colleagues here that I associate there, I have any fear of that happening, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why it is progressive time, ladies and gentlemen. I want you also not just to be content that you have, through the process of analytical and deductive reason, come to the conclusion that the best candidates through across the entire Cayman Islands constituency are progressive. But I want you to share that good news. You know, over 2,000 years ago, we had the good news of the plan of salvation. And we have sing a good old holy song that is bubbling, is bubbling, is bubbling in my soul. That means you can't contain it. Well, after tonight, I hope your soul is so bubbling that you cannot contain it, that even as you drive home from here or fly back to Grand Cayman, as some of us propose to do, you'll get on your social media, you'll get on and tell the rest of them who are still wandering out somewhere, come on home. Come on home to progressive home. When they ask you why, you tell them because it's love of country. And when you ask them why, you say, we have started a good journey. We are not about to change it now. We are going to progress it on. And listen to the word, and perhaps the teacher of me will come out just about now, Mr. Patton. Progressive. It doesn't mean you're going to be regressive. And to be progressive, you have to be united. The Constitution clearly says that in order for our honorable leader, Premier Alden McLaughlin, to lead the next government, and has he not did an excellent job in the last 4 years? Let's big it up for him. In order for that to happen, ladies and gentlemen, we must be 10 men and women strong. And while I'm here, let me give a plug for my colleague Tara Rivers in West Bay, who would be very proud that we are gender balanced on the platform. Not only we have some good-looking ladies, but they're all educated, experienced, fired up, and ready to be progressive time across these Cayman Islands. We have been fully cognizant under his leadership that our population has more than 50% of females. And long have gone the days when females are barefooted in the kitchen with an apron, washing dishes and serving food. We have long gone over that, and the Premier recognizes that. He appreciates the women who are in our society. And as a woman, and on behalf of my female colleagues here tonight, I am asking you women, tell your husbands, they normally listen to us, don't they? Tell your children, tell your neighbors, and even if you have to tell your enemies, it is progressive time. Let's go and vote PPM straight in every constituency in the Cayman Islands, starting with Moses and Juliana on Cayman Brac. And I can tell you, the next morning you won't have no regrets. We won't have any news bulletins or breaking news on CNN that something went wrong in West End, and we have a candidate that you're not quite sure about. And you won't have that breaking sad news that in Spot Bay, something went wrong because you stayed home. Every one of you go marching out and put your vote down. You know what I would like to see, ladies and gentlemen? It opens at 7 o'clock. The early bird gets the best worm. Go and make some breaking news that Radio Cayman can announce that the Creek polling station and the Western polling station has a traffic jam block of people voting progressive on Cayman Brac. I am sure that will be a change that they can put on the record, ladies and gentlemen. You see, if you go out and vote early for Moses and I, and the election officials see that they have ticked every single registered voter there, yes, it says they have to close at 6 o'clock. But Moses and I can get on a plane, go to Georgetown, campaign for our colleagues here, and get all those Cayman Bracers out, and it will be what? Progressive time, ladies and gentlemen. We need to make sure that we are Cayman Island strong, and we cannot sit back and have it as business as usual. We must work together. I know people in the Pattons area. I know people in Maxine's, Barden's, Ed's, Miss Daphne, Lucy, Miss Lucille Planik, Cayman Bracers up in that square, the Wright brothers, Barbara, Mr. Roy, Marco, and Premier, the same thing. Of course, My cousin Joey, he didn't tell you that, but he's Cayman Bracer by genetics. We know people who are Cayman Bracers there. Cayman Bracers, do as the Israelis do. Stand up strong, be proud, and get the progressive vote in. We need every single one of them if you want to continue the success, if you want to continue the serenity, if you want to continue the safety, and if you want to continue the high level of education and scholarships that we've been able to put together, and if you want to continue with a financial secretary. Call this man behind me here, Marco, and I'm not being disrespectful by not referring to you as honorable. Minister. Well, I said secretary. That was probably a Freudian slip, because when you go to him, he's so meticulous. You got to cross every T and dot every I, so you think that he has administrative and secretarial skill, but he is the minister. When you go to him, you can rest assured that your money is spent well. The revenues that receive is well balanced, that counts are there. And yes, you will put up a fight, but that's what we expect, because it is your money and we must spend it wisely. And I want to go on record tonight, Honorable Premier and colleagues, to thank you on behalf of Moses and myself for the generous, the colossal, the gigantic, the enormous support that you've given us, not just morally, socially, but financially and politically over the past 4 years. Moses and I, it's now our time. It's Cayman Brac and Little Cayman time. And we, Moses and I, are prepared to do everything that is within the law to make sure we deliver the 2 seats to the Premier. What say you, people of Cayman Brac? Is it progressive time? I believe so. And I just want to say this in conclusion, because Moses and I will have other opportunities to address you, the good people of Cayman Brac. When you see this thing about make the change, sit down and think it through. Make means you must actively become engaged and do something. And we're going to do that, aren't we, by voting progressive. Change, is it for the person or is it for the country? Is it for the person or is it for the country? And some of them may not have a track record for you to check that out. But when you ask that question about Moses, and when you ask that question about Juliana, you don't have to ask anybody, because you can see our footprints and fingerprints all over Cayman Brac, from Booba Point down to the Boobies and Little Cayman. Moses and I just didn't develop one sectorial part. We just didn't try to get a name for Mose or Mons or Julie. We knew that this time was coming when the country would need the 2 seats from Cayman Brac. And we put all differences aside. And there were differences. We put them aside for love of country. And ain't nobody going to come between Moses and I. So let them come with their $1 million, Joey. Let them come with their used furniture. Cayman Bracers have a record of eating, drinking, and voting out, and they won't change it this time. I thank you for this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen.